Good morning. I feel actually very complete after what you said this morning, though I do have some questions. Between the feeling of depression and the feeling of ecstasy, what's been happening for me in the last few months is I've been not just going up the scale. So instead of taking those steps that you were talking about, I've been going from a depressed state to I want to feel better. My desire is so strong. And this is regarding my children, that I'm going to the opposite end, trying to reach for something that feels better, and I'm ending up with frustration.
Well, that's always the way it ends up it never ends up, but it's always the result when you try to make too big of a jump. You fall in the crevasse, so to speak.
And that's how I felt. This is having to do with my daughters. I have a 20-year-old daughter who had a child 5.5 months ago, which is my granddaughter, my first grandchild. And I have a 13-year-old daughter. And both of them, I'm finding that they are creating in my experience. But my understanding is that nobody else can create in my experience, and that I cannot create in anyone else's experience. So that's where I'm confused, because my daughter and her fiance and her child, the new family, is having a lot of impact on my experience. Yes, I'm focusing on it because I trip over it on a daily basis. So when I try not to focus on it, like put the smiley face over it, as you were saying, then I go to the opposite end, but it's not true. It's not who I really am. And all I want to do is find out who I really am again, because I feel sort of lost in between the two ends of the stick.
Well, you are amplifying with the description of your experience exactly what we've been talking about, that law of attraction does not give you access to this bright, happy, fluffy thought from this place of concern. In other words, you just can't get there from there. And it's important for you to realize that you can get to where you want to be, but you're just going to take some more gradual steps about it. So relative to this subject of co-creating with your family, what would you say if you were to choose an emotional word that best described your set point, or where you usually are on this subject? What comes to mind?
Usually recently, or usually before the last 6 months?
Well, like Magellan, we really don't care where you've been.
Okay.
In other words, always your power is right here and now. Always.
Right now, it's fear. Is the strongest feeling I have. Yes.
So now just talk to us so that those listening in can ascertain if fear is really where you are on this scale. Just ramble.
Okay. Ramble about what's occurring right now for me. What is occurring right now for me is my daughter had a baby 5.5 months ago. Her fiance, who she's been with for a couple of years, determined by choice that somehow that her relationship with me as her mother would take away from his relationship with him and the baby as a unit. And he's been pulling, and I've been trying not to pull back. So I'm resisting that somehow in there, and I'm fearing the loss of the relationship that I've had with my daughter for 20 years. That's the biggest
All right,
item.
now as you hear her, does the word fear and what you feel around this feel like they match? No? So she does feel powerless. That's what so it's fear and worse. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Fear and worse. Fear being the upside and worse being the downside. But it's in there somewhere between powerless and fear. We agree. We think that that's a pretty accurate assessment. So now, your work is simple. Your work is to try to stay on this subject and find some statements that give you some relief. So,
like a focus wheel?
Like what it is.
Okay.
Like the moving up the vibrational scale. In other words, try to find a statement that gives you relief. So when you say, he's going to take her away from me, that's worse. When you say, she adores him, and he's her strongest point of influence right now, and she's much more likely to listen to him than she is to me. That amplifies it. It takes you further from where you want to go. So what you want to do is just ramble as you do, focus as you do, but this time let's pay attention and let's focus with the express intent of finding relief for you. We're not trying to get them to do something different. We're only helping you to adjust your point of allowing. That's all. Your desire is very clear. It's all right for you to desire anything. It's all right for you to want a fabulous relationship with your daughter. And Source hears you want that. And in all of those moments of concern, rockets of desires have been coming out of you that are expressing even more specifically how you want this relationship and what kind of relationship you're looking for. So the universe is not blind to what you want. That is keenly known. So this exercise is about you adjusting you so that you can let in what you want. That's all. And relief is the indicator of that. So ramble and let's find out if you are bringing relief with the statement or not. And if you don't, that's all right. You can keep rambling. In other words, there's no end to your ability to keep choosing. No right or wrong here, just relief or not. Relief or not. Now let's focus on where you are. I am fearful, you say, that a new point of influence has come into her experience that is so strong that it is influencing her away from me. And I fear the loss of my relationship with my daughter. Is that all the fear is about? Do you fear that the influence will take her where she doesn't want to go? Or do you only fear that it will remove her from you?
No. I fear that it'll take her where she doesn't want to go. And I fear she'll relive my mistakes from 20 years ago.
Oh, it's getting bigger, isn't it?
Yes. I'm going the wrong way, aren't I?
It's all right. But at least you're identifying where you are. In other words, so now keep talking. Now you've identified what is at the heart of all of this. I fear that she will make the same kind of mistakes that I've made and that it will lead her to the same sort of discomfort that I have experienced. And I don't want her to have that long, slow way out of it. It took me far too long to find my place. And I was hoping that I could guide her better. So we're sort of just beating the drum of where you are. Now try to make some statements that feel better.
Her fiance really loves her and the baby. She's an excellent mother.
Anything happening yet?
Nothing.
It's a happy face sort of thing. You're changing the subject just a little bit, but you're not on the subject that...
Because I'm so used to not talking about the negative emotion.
We know. But you are teachers of this. One of the reasons, someone said to us recently, Abraham, why are you changing your approach to this? And we say, because there have been too many people sticking too many happy faces on too many empty gauges. In other words, too many of you pretending that you feel a way different than you feel, and then you don't understand the results that you're getting. And so the work is to try to find some relief from this feeling that she's going wrong, or from this feeling that he is leading her wrong. So stay somewhere in the vicinity of that and see if you can't give yourself some relief.
I feel empty. I feel drained.
How about this? I am tired of this being on my plate. I don't know why I am taking this on my plate. I don't know why I'm trying to guide those who don't want to be guided. I don't know why I'm trying to help them when they don't want to be helped. I'm tired of caring more about their life than they seem to care. So, you're tired of feeling disempowered, and you're tired of caring more about what they're living than they do. And you're tired sort of sticking your own nose in, but you're tired of being sucked into the drama. You're tired of them asking for things, and then as you start offering them, acting like they didn't even ask for it. You're tired of them not understanding law of attraction. You're tired of them sucking you in and then holding you out, and then sucking you in and then holding you out. It's irritating to be treated like a ping pong ball. In other words, doesn't that feel better?
Oh, that's it exactly.
Well, it's it exactly in some ways, and that's a lighter, purer part of the vibrational range that you often find. In other words, you started with disempowerment. You started with suffocation. You started with something that bordered on depression. And now, together, we have come to a place where we have activated something within you that's not sunshine and roses, and it's certainly not something that you'd like to take to the garden club and spread around, but it is relief for you. It did feel better for you. So now,
it felt true.
whether it's true or not, it felt relief from where you were. See, the depression was true too. Correct. And the ecstasy can be true too. It's not a matter of whether it's true or not. It's a matter of whether you are choosing things that are improved things to think and feel, you see. So now, on this subject, how do you feel right now? Never mind how you felt. Never mind how you feel. Right now, how do you feel? What would you like to say about your daughter's relationship with her fiancé? What would you like to say about that?
Truly what I'd like to say? What I'd really like to say.
We are demonstrating our dismay. We never feel dismay. But drama is good.
What I'd really, really like to say is that I would love for them to work their relationship out and be together as a family. That's what I'd really like to happen. And when I do that, I could feel relief.
Now keep feeling around there and say some other things. I think maybe I should mind my own business. And I think maybe that this boyfriend who is annoying the life out of me with his rigid decisions and his power of influence may sense something in there too. And maybe I should give them a chance to make their footing, and maybe I should begin to trust that they're on the right track. Maybe the thing that's been making me feel so frustrated is that I'm sitting in the back seat trying to drive the car. Maybe I should relax and let the person that's in the front seat drive the car. And maybe them who have created a baby together, maybe they are the ones that should be driving their vehicle, and maybe I should be enjoying where they're going and enjoying what they're doing, or maybe I should even be wondering about whether they're going the right way, but I've got to stop feeling like I need to get my hands on their wheel. And when I give up that sense that I need to control what they're doing, I'm going to feel so much better. My frustration is lifting off of me even as I anticipate that. As their mother, you will never stop caring about their well-being. But when you turn their creation over to them, you will find tremendous relief. And this is the thing about parenting that is so screwy in your environment today. Your society wants to hold you responsible for their outcomes.
Oh, absolutely.
And nothing could be screwier because you can't vibrate for them, so you cannot affect their outcome. So now the way this whole thing is turning in on itself is you're seeing them superimposing your failures over what they're living, feel uncomfortable about what they're living, making yourself feel awful, and then wanting them to do something about it. And what her fiancé is saying is, this all feels a lot more complicated when we factor you in than when we factor you out. So we've decided that we're going to factor you out because we feel better. And it is our promise to you that as you let them factor you out temporarily, your relationships are eternal. You will never be apart from them very long. But as you give yourself permission to let them cut you loose from something that you are not able to do anyway, you're going to have a much more joyous time from the sideline watching their progress than you are standing in the middle of it trying to make it happen from your vantage point. There is not anything inappropriate with you. You are a caring mother who has always cared about the well-being of your children. But the message of Abraham is you got to let them create their own reality. And if you do anything less than let them create their own reality, they're going to hate you and you're going to have a miserable time in the process.
I understand. And it's been easier the last month now that they don't live in our house with us. That was very, very difficult.
So that's that push-pull thing that we're talking about.
Yes, the push-pull.
They're saying, we need you, but we don't want you.
Yes.
We need you to help us. We just don't want you to tell us what to do. And so it's a sort of scrambled thing. But they are powerful, and it is a good relationship, and we are anticipating good things from it. And we're not wanting to jump all the way over in this and stick a happy face on it either. We're wanting you to work to find the relief. And we know that for many listening in, it was sort of a boring and uncomfortable process to sort of drag this out of you. And it is something that you can do more comfortably by yourself, but you are having a hard time staying focused upon how you feel. In other words, this is the work to move up the vibrational scale, and sometimes it's easier than others. If you were up here in the register of frustration, we could have moved up easily, but this is something that is tied to something that is very deep. We don't think that there is anything that is deeper in terms of desire for a parent than the well-being of their child. That is the subject that has the greatest potential of making energy move fast of all other subjects put together, you have strong, strong, strong desire about the well-being of your children.
Yes,
but you've learned this from your physical environment, and you've been guided by a society that wants to make you responsible for something that you cannot possibly be responsible for.